We want to dim the lights so that you guys can see this beautiful PowerPoint a little bit more. Thank you so much, Em, for that awesome introduction. Cool. Can everyone see this okay now? It's good? Excellent. You can see us less, so we like that. Again, thank you guys all for coming out tonight. Really, really appreciate it. Obviously, I'm Vanessa. This is Jack. A little bit about ourselves. So we run the Flexible Approach together. We have different backgrounds and different qualifications. I am also a vet nurse. I'm a trainer and educator, and I'm a nutrition coach as well. And yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's fine. And Jack?
I have been in the health and fitness industry for 10 years. I work as a PT. I've also been on the other side where I've been overweight in the past. So I just wanted to start up the Flexible Approach. I feel like there's a lot of misinformation out there as well, and you sort of don't know what direction you're going to be pulled in. So I just wanted to make it simple and easy for everyone.
And obviously I joined suit. I became a coach. Throughout my life, I have always been very active, very into my health and well-being, but there's just so much incorrect information out there. You just never know which way to go. We all grew up watching, celebrities do this and watching shows like The Biggest Loser and talking about carbs, how they're bad for you. And there's just a lot of stuff that's really incorrect about the journey. So I love coaching my clients, teaching them the fundamentals, showing you that, positive daily habits, a few changes here and there can actually have you reach your goals in a balanced and sustainable way. Tonight, guys, as well, obviously, if you have questions, we would love you to write them down, make a mental note, because you might find that we even answer some throughout our PowerPoint. There's going to be plenty of time for questions at the end, okay? So we'll make sure we answer that all for you. So first thing we want to do, if my laptop wants to work, it was connected.
Just push the next button.
Hold on.
There we go.
There we go. Okay, let's find out, guys. How many of you have tried a sort of weight loss diet or nutrition phases in the past and it just hasn't worked or it hasn't been sustainable? Maybe you guys were on it for a little bit and then you came off and you just fell back into old habits. Maybe you didn't even understand what you were doing, you didn't understand nutrition. Maybe you did try some of those weight loss fad diets like your Jenny Craig's and your Light and Easy and stuff, and worked temporarily, but again, as soon as you went off it, it just didn't work. Did any of you guys do it? Because I know I did it throughout my life. Yep. So it's really important when you're doing these journeys and these nutrition programs and these fitness programs that you actually understand it. So our thing is, why are we different? Why is the Flexible Approach different? And we're going to talk about that tonight. So we don't tell you to cut out food you love, first of all. We believe in a very, very balanced approach. We believe in the 80-20 approach, and we will explain what that means a little bit later. We educate our clients so you actually understand why you're doing certain things and say why we're asking you to do it. And the coaching and client relationship is really, really important to us. So we make sure that the communication is there and that we're all on the same page throughout our journey. And we support you. You have access to a wonderful community as well when you are on our membership programs. And most importantly, it's not like a one size fits all. We don't give the exact same program to every single one of you. It's very personal, customized experience with us.
So the first thing we're going to talk about is understanding your food and nutrition. So everyone is going to have different calorie and macro goals. These are all based on your age, your weight, your height, your gender, your lifestyle, and your activity level. A lot of the times people refer to a calorie calculator, which is a really good place to start. You just Google it and it'll give you a really rough breakdown on your calories and everything. The only problem is they're not 100% accurate all the time. You do need to take into consideration other factors, which is where, again, an online coach can come in and take that out, the guesswork out for you.
Okay, so let's start with those basics. What are calories? You probably hear people talking about calories and kilojoules and all this stuff in food, but you're like, what is it? It's basically energy. It's energy in food. It's energy and fuel that we need to survive and perform everyday basic functions, okay? It's really easy to track your calories versus your kilojoules, okay? So when you see nutrition panels that look a little bit like this one, you might see that it'll have something in kJ, which is kilojoules, and something in calories or kilocalories, which is kcal. You need to be able to easily convert those, which is why I've got like that little rough guideline there. But you just want to be able to pick up food and be like, oh, okay, so this is the serving of energy in this food, and this is the protein, and this is the carbs, and this is the fats. And it's kind of really important to just understand the food that you're putting in your body. To simplify it, basically, to convert from calories to kilojoules, you multiply calories by 4.18, and then you reverse it. So to convert from kilojoules to calories, you divide it by 4.18, okay? And that'll give you either the kilojoules or the calorie servings on the back of your nutrition panel.
As Ness mentioned before, we believe in balance and like taking like an 80-20 approach. So like 80% having like your whole foods, your good lean proteins, your fruits, your veggies, all that, but then not cutting out those soul foods. So like 20% soul foods. We do believe in having like a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of like chips, all that sort of good stuff, because if you cut it out completely and stop eating it, that's when those binge habits want to start. Like if you cut chocolate out for months and months and months on end, that's when those binging habits sort of want to kick in, and you do want to stray off plan a little bit. With Flex, we give our clients over 300 meals to sort of choose from. We work with you in working out a meal plan. Again, it's not one size fits all. We really want you guys and our clients to sort of choose meals that they're going to love, enjoy, and that is sustainable for you guys.
It's sort of creating like an everyday lifestyle, okay? It's not like a diet phase. We teach you how to eat every day so that you can maintain your goals and hit your targets. Okay, so our metabolism is also really important to understand in this process. And again, Jack's made me promise not to get too scientific-y because I have a degree in science where all this kind of comes from as well. So I'm going to try and simplify it for you guys as best as I can, okay? But when we're looking at your nutrition goals or your weight loss goals or your building phases or whatever it is that we're going to talk about soon, yes, calories are really important, but your metabolism is really important, and how much you move is really important. So looking at your metabolism, basically, these beautiful acronyms are stuff that we work out for you as coaches, but it's just good to have a little idea of what they are. So your total daily energy expenditure is literally the total amount of energy your body burns in a day. When we look at the metabolism, that obviously takes into account your total daily energy expenditure, which looks at the thermic effect of food. So the nutrition and the energy in the food that you eat. It also looks at something called your NEAT. It is your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. I know, again, that's a really big word. To simplify it, it's literally just the amount that you move. Walking every day, going to the bathroom, going to pick up something. It's not training at gym, okay? It's just your daily basic movement. It also looks at, of course, your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate, okay? So all these things are looked at when we're looking at a nutrition plan for you. But again, my laptop is having fun. We always say to our clients, control the controllable, okay? So yes, your genetics and your BMR obviously have 40 to 50% of everything that's kind of made up within you, but you can control what you eat, you can control your movement, you can control the amount of food that you eat, the food that you put in your body, whether you're focusing on certain food groups and things like that, which we will go through with you. But it's really important to understand that your metabolism as a whole is contributed by heaps of different factors that we look at when we have a client on board to make sure that we're giving you the correct plan for your body type, okay? So it's not an online calculator that doesn't know all this stuff. Oh, wasn't doing this at home.
So that's why we are big on like movement. Like movement is medicine. That's why you see so many people, especially now, like the big benchmark for like steps, it's like hit 10,000 steps a day, because you're getting your NEAT up and you're increasing your NEAT and getting all those steps in. That's why we always like preach like buying just like a smartwatch. Doesn't even have to be like one of the top of the range one, just something that like counts your steps, just so you get an idea on like having the app on your phone isn't always accurate. They're not going to always have your phone in your pocket. But that's why like movement is so important. Like if you take me, for example, if you have one me that's doing like 10,000 steps a day and the other me that's doing like 5,000 steps a day, the one that's doing 10,000 is going to be able to eat way more food. I'm moving literally double the amount and I'm burning more calories throughout the day. The one that's doing 5, I'm going to be more sedentary, so I'm not going to be able to eat as much and all that sort of stuff. The next thing we're going to quickly skip over different nutrition phases. So the most common one is obviously like your deficit, so eating less than what you burn. A maintenance phase, which is often overlooked, it's just eating as much as your body burns throughout the day. A reverse diet is commonly done when you've been in a deficit phase for a long period of time, and then you reverse back up to your maintenance. And the last phase we'll cover is a surplus, so like a build phase, a bulk phase, just to give you guys a better idea.
So all of our clients will be on, if not one of these phases, or multiple phases throughout the time that we're coaching them. Again, it's just highly specific on their goals. No,
right click.
I am, it's not working. Okay, so the first one, as Jack said, is calorie deficit. This is one that people always like to jump straight on board to, because often we find 70% to 80% of the time people just want to lose weight. So we like to teach you guys the fundamentals of weight loss, of course, but we're going to do it in a sustainable way. In order to lose weight, there's no ifs or buts about it. You just need to be in the correct calorie deficit for your body. If you are not losing weight, you are not in a calorie deficit for your body type, okay? That's the only way to look at it. If, for example, you were moving a lot more than you once were, and then you started moving less, so your NEAT, that non-exercise activity thermogenesis, down regulates, then you're going to pull yourself out of a calorie deficit as well, and you're therefore no longer in that calorie deficit, okay? So it's literally just eating and drinking fewer calories than you burn. So we do have what we call our fundamentals of weight loss with the flexible approach, okay? The first two, actually, we're not going to get too in-depth into tonight because Emma said we had a time limit. So, but basically sleep and water, okay? So sleep is crucial because it controls a lot of our hormones. It controls a lot of our metabolism as well. So if we're having really poor sleep, introduces a lot of stress into our cycle, and then it actually plays a huge role with our hunger hormones, which again, I'm not going to get into because time limit. But again, water targets as well. Drinking enough water is really, really important for your weight loss journey. It helps with keeping full, satiation, hydration, flushing all the toxins and things out of your body. But what we are going to definitely talk a lot about tonight is macronutrients, okay? And we'll explain what they are. But it's not just about the calories that you hit, it's about the macros that you hit in your food every day as well. Steps and movement we've already covered. Once again, you need to be in a calorie deficit. Fundamentals of fat loss, if you're in a calorie deficit, you're going to lose weight. The most important one, very, very often overlooked, is consistency and discipline, okay? We didn't get to where we are today overnight. We didn't potentially create a lot of bad habits overnight. It's been a lot of months and years in the making. So it does take time, progress, patience, consistency to see those changes. But if you hit the fundamentals, you will see those changes over time.
The next phase we're going to talk about is the calorie maintenance phase. So in our opinion, it's probably the most overlooked phase for people to be in. You don't want to spend your whole life in a deficit phase. Like, it's just not healthy. It's not good for you. Like, a maintenance phase is where a lot of good things can happen. Like, your training is on point. Your recovery is a lot better than it is in a deficit phase. Like, if you come out of a deficit and then go correctly into a maintenance phase, you should not put on body fat. Like, it is exactly how it sounds. You're in a maintenance, like you are eating as much calories as you burn. So therefore you should be able to gain muscle while keeping your body fat percentage down. So that's why we are massive on calorie maintenances as well. You should not be in a deficit for too long of a period.
And you can achieve so much in a maintenance. Like, in a maintenance phase, you can still lose body fat and increase muscle mass. And that's where you're going to see all those body composition changes that you often desire without constantly being in a deficit. Okay, and then our build and surplus phase, it is how it sounds. It's you're eating more calories than you burn. It's often for athletes, people who want to build a lot of muscle mass. You have to get comfortable in this phase putting on weight, because that is what will happen. But if you're eating correctly and you're hitting your carbs and protein, which are most important for energy and for fuel and for holding on to your muscle mass, you're going to build a lot of muscle. And then followed by a deficit phase, you'll then lose a lot of body fat. and then you'll have those really desired body composition changes that you want. So we have coached several clients through build phases as well that have started with deficits, gone to maintenance, and then gone up into a build phase because they've just loved the whole process of it all.
So what we're going to show you guys next are just some transformations that have happened with us, and we'll sort of talk a little bit about some of these people, like Ness just said, all went through different phases. Some were in deficit, some were at a maintenance, some were in a bit of a surplus, some did multiple of them. So we're just going to show you a couple of people now just to highlight them.
We wish you could show you all of them, but we can't. First one is Eliza, okay? This amazing human, she is a 12-hour shift worker. She literally just woke up one morning and just made the decision to just completely change her life and her lifestyle. She was just over her unhealthy habits and wanted to make a change properly. So this is a 2-year transformation that you see. Once again, it did not happen overnight. She shifted almost 50 kilos with us, and she really trusted in the client-coach relationship and the fundamentals that we were giving her. She went through all 3 different stages. We love to catch up with our clients after they do leave us. This was her literally a few months ago, 6 months after leaving the flexible approach. But this is what she looks like now because she just fell in love with health and food and fitness, and she continues that lifestyle every single day because it wasn't a diet phase for her. It was a lifestyle that we created.
The next person we're going to show you is Brett. So quite similar to Eliza, obviously not as extreme, but Brett started off with us wanting to lose a bit of body fat. He started off in a deficit phase with us for about 12 to 15 weeks. And then after dropping his weight and getting his body fat down, he then went into a maintenance phase. And we kept him in a maintenance phase for like a good 15 weeks as well. And then he started to put on like really good lean body mass. He started getting into the gym a lot more, and even just like his overall confidence coming in shine right through as well. So that's another really good example of someone who did not just one but multiple phases. And while he was at his maintenance, he continued to drop his body fat percentage down while obviously increasing his lean body mass as well.
All right, this is Gaia. She is a mum and a nurse, so her lifestyle was crazy. This is 12 months of consistency with Gaia. She came to us really anxious about the whole process, was nervous about, getting into gym, nervous about the coaching experience, but she just really took on board the entire process. Again, trusted in the process and the consistency, once again, 12 months. Gaia just goes to show that, changes and goals don't happen when you stay in your comfort zone. You do need to get out of it in order to see those desired results.
The next person is Ollie. Ollie was 16 when he started with us. He came to us, he plays pretty high level football, and he just wanted to put on a little bit of size. Obviously he was at the time in 17s, and he was about to go off and play like the 2s with the bigger boys. So he just wanted to put on a little bit more size. So with Ollie, it was interesting. He started off, he did like a call with us, and we just told him how many calories he sort of should be having. And then he went away, came back, and then he wasn't really getting where he wanted to be. He was sort of, the calories he was like getting weren't from the right foods. He was getting them sort of through, he was just trying to fit in as much calories as possible. He was eating sort of like too much chocolate, too much chips, just trying to smash down as much calories as he could. Went on to coaching with us, and then we had him eating like the right foods, getting in enough protein, making sure his macros also aligned with his calories. And then similar to Brett from before, his lean body mass went up, put on more size, and he put on like a little bit of weight, but as you can tell, like it was muscle. It wasn't body fat. Our next person we're going to show you is Callie. So Callie actually was one of our first clients, and she started with us right through when lockdown was happening. So Callie actually got stuck over in Japan while she was coaching with us. Callie was a really good example of how you can adapt to your circumstances. She, obviously when she started with us, the intention was to fly back home. We gave her all our food brands and all the Coles and all that. Obviously over in Japan, everything's in a completely different language. It's not like your Coles and your Woolies over there. So she had to adapt to it. We had to work with her and figure out her calories, convert it all. So she's just a really good example of like overcoming some obstacles through her journey.
All right, so we're going to feature Linda. So a mum and a grandmother. Just goes to show, guys, we've showed you people from all different walks of life, all different lifestyles, age groups, etc. This individual, again, spent her whole life coming off of those fad diets, you know, thinking that weight loss shakes are going to get her to where she needs to be, going on Jenny Craig and Light and Easy and seeing results, but then going off them and just not having learnt anything or how to eat properly every day and then putting all the weight back on. So she went to the doctors, was given a hell of a scare that she needed. She had really high sugar levels, high blood pressure, really sore knees from just having too much weight on her. And she just decided it was time to make the change and do it in a proper, sustainable way. This photo here, she shifted 20 kilos with us and she's still a nutrition client today. She's been with us now for almost a year and she just loves the accountability and the constant support and encouragement throughout her journey. I don't think we're going to be able to get rid of her, to be honest, because she's just going to stay on the whole time. So there you have it, guys. Look, I know we showed you a lot of different people, but it's just all about consistency and sustainability, trusting in the process, trusting in the balance that we teach you. We're going to talk to you now about the food groups and the macros that you've obviously heard us mention a little bit, just so you guys have more of an understanding of those food groups.
So as Ness just said, we're going to cover the five main food groups. We're going to talk a little bit about your vegetables, your fruits, your grain foods, your lean meats, poultry, fish, eggs, nuts and seeds, and then your milks, your yogurts, your cheeses, and all those alternatives.
As we talk about this, guys, these are created from the Australian Dietary Guidelines. That's just that. They're guidelines. They're recommended serving sizes. And again, always differs based on individuals. But vegetables, you actually need to be having 5 to 6 servings per day. The complicated process here is that means about 100 to 350 kilojoules per day. When we work that out into calories, it's basically saying that 125 to 425 calories of your overall calories a day needs to be vegetables. They are really, really important for magnesium, vitamin C, folate, fiber, and you can have it in so many different types. You don't need to be eating vegetables that you can't stand. Like, I will not eat peas, I will not eat Brussels sprouts, I will not eat corn. You just eat the vegetables that you enjoy.
The next one we're going to talk about is fruit. So you are recommended to have 2 servings of fruit per day. 1 serving of fruit is approximately 150 grams, which is 350 kilojoules, which equivalent to 85 calories. So therefore, you want to be having about 170 calories of fruit per day. The good thing with fruit as well is it's highly satiating and pretty low in calories. Some key nutrients with your fruits are your vitamin A, your vitamin C, and your vitamin E. So make sure you are having your fruit.
All right, so number 3 is our grain foods. 6 servings a day, so higher servings of grain food as well. And as you can see, there's heaps of different grain food options, okay? You got your bread, your rice, your pastas, your noodles. We want to be basically having approximately 720 calories of grain foods per day, okay?
The next one is your lean meats, poultry, fish, eggs, nuts, and seeds. You want to be having about 3 servings of this per day. 1 serving is about 500 to 600 kilojoules. Again, it's about 120 calories. So therefore, you want to be having about 360 calories of your meats, fish, eggs per day. The other thing is, if you are vegan or vegetarian, there are other really good alternatives you can have to obviously your meats and your eggs and all that. Again, that's another good reason to have a coach. But the essential vitamins and nutrients you're getting out of this are like your proteins, your iron, and your zinc.
Our last food group, guys, is your milk, cheese, yogurt, and alternatives. We want to have about 2.5 servings per day of this, okay? So as you can already see, it's a lower serving size. This is the one we find that generally people have a very larger serving size of. But we want to have approximately about 300 calories per day of this. And it's really important for your calcium, protein, vitamins, fiber. It's got really good zinc in it. And it's literally what it sounds like. Different types of milk, different types of yogurts, there's different types of cheese. You can have soy milk, you can have full cream milk, you can have almond milk. It's all really good calcium. It's all really good protein and energy in it, okay?
The next thing we are going to talk about are nutrients. So we're going to mainly talk about your protein, your carbs, and your fats. And then we'll talk a little bit about your macros. So that's going to be more, we're going to mainly focus on fiber because that is a really big key micronutrient.
So what we kind of just spoke to you about is your food groups. And now we're going to talk about where you can get sources from those into your macros and your micros. So this is what we kind of work out in your meal plan. The first one, the most important one in our opinion and all your coaches' opinions, will be protein, okay? Protein, it's a little bit hard to work out sometimes, but it's basically 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. We're going to do a little bit later just an example of Jack and I's daily plan so you can see how we work it out. But what protein does, for example, if we had someone on a deficit diet, so a weight loss diet, we would want their protein to be higher because during a weight loss phase, you are losing weight, yes, but you are also losing muscle mass. So you need to be having lots of protein to hold on to that muscle mass during that phase, and most importantly, to keep you full as well. And we've got a list of everything that protein does for you. So it's really important for your building blocks. It is called your amino acids and they help build and repair your muscle tissues. Again, it's really important for your hormones, your metabolism. It controls certain things with your sleep, with your emotions, with your reproduction, everything like that. Increases muscle mass again and holds on to that lean muscle mass during certain building and deficit phases. And it's also really important to eat protein after you exercise because it helps speed up muscle recovery. So often we find people come to us and their protein is really, really low and they're really hungry and they're not seeing those desired results because they're not hitting this essential macronutrient target. Good sources of protein. Again, we've got a beautiful list here for you, but lean meats, so fish, salmon, dairy foods, yogurt is a really, really good source of protein. And then again, for your vegetarians or your vegans, you've got your nuts, your legumes, your grains, your beans, eggs, and then supplements. When we say supplements, you can absolutely supplement these things into your diet, but it shouldn't be the first thing you go to. We want you to be getting these nutrients from foods, nutrient-dense, delicious foods that we need every day, and then supplementing, say, that extra 10, 15, 20% that you need, because we need the food more than we do the supplements.
The next one we're going to talk about are your carbohydrates. So a lot of the time people think carbs are the enemy, but your diet should consist of about 45 to 65% of your carbs. Carbs are often a lot more dense. They leave you feeling fuller for longer. They're also a really good way of keeping your energy levels up. Like they're a good thing to have pre and post training. It helps with your recovery as well. It helps with your energy just before you start training. Your body stores carbs in your muscles as glycogen, which is then converted to glucose. So when that happens, it really helps with your fatigue, your prolonging, like through muscle soreness, all that sort of stuff. So again, it's really essential to make sure you're having enough good carbs. Some really good carb sources are things like your breads, noodles, pastas, all that sort of stuff. Fruits, dairy products, again, like Ness said, that doesn't matter. It can be almond milk, soy milk, oat milk, any type of milk. Your legumes, your juices, and your starchy vegetables like your potatoes and your corn and your peas.
All right. Our last macronutrient is fats, and fats are super essential as well for our diet, but we need less of them. So it's about 20 to 30% of fats that goes into our daily diet. It's really important. Again, they give you energy. They help regulate our body. They give us homeostasis, so at a balance, okay? There's a lot of vitamins that we don't naturally synthesize, and fats are really important for those essential vitamins for our body, okay? Once again, really important for our hormone regulation, and they support cell growth. And they're delicious, but we do need them in our diet. Good sources of fat. Okay, so is that a bit out of focus? Sorry, guys. Really smart fat food choices are things like your chia seeds, avocado, butter, eggs, nuts, dark chocolate, Greek yogurt, and then definitely other fats that we can have in our diet, but they're called trans fats, so we just want to have a little bit less of them. They're things that are very high in oil, preservatives, pastries, cakes, sweets, all that good stuff that we love that you can still have in your diet, but just less of.
And the last thing we're going to sort of talk about is a micronutrient. It's just fiber. So fiber is really, really important. There are two types of fiber. There's soluble fiber and insoluble fiber. Your soluble fiber is the type of fiber that dissolves in water, and it can help lower your blood and cholesterol levels and also your glucose levels. So your soluble fiber is often found in like oats, peas, beans, some fruits, all that sort of stuff. And your insoluble fiber is this type of fiber promotes the movement of material through your digestive system, so it really helps with your bowels. Things that are in insoluble fiber are like your potatoes, other veggies, more like your whole wheats and whole bran sort of foods. The other thing is it really helps control your blood sugar levels. So people with diabetes, fiber really helps. Your soluble fiber helps slow the absorption rate of sugar down and helps increase your blood sugar levels. So yeah.
Yeah, basically there's a lot of micronutrients. We got the vitamins and minerals and all that, but fiber is one of the most important micronutrients. Another reason why it's so good for you as well is it actually helps keep you full as well. It's really good for that satiation.
So some good sources of fiber, like we sort of just skipped through then, some whole grain products, fruits, veggies, beans, nuts and seeds. You want to avoid like the more refined ones, like any other macro that are refined sort of ones, like your refined carbs, fats, all that sort of stuff. Your refined fibers are more like your canned sort of stuff, your canned fruits, your canned veggies, your bottled juices and all that sort of stuff.
Stuff that has more sugar in it that's being created to taste better. All right, so I know we've hit you with a lot of stuff about food groups and macros and nutrients and stuff. So we're going to put it in perspective and just kind of talk about Jack and myself, okay? So as you can see, you got your macros there, you got protein, fat, and carbohydrates, and how much ideally a person should be having each day. When we look at protein, fats, and carbohydrates, that is how you get your total daily calories as well, okay? So take me, for example. I'm a female, I'm 30 years old, I'm very tall, I'm 6'1". I average around 15 to 20,000 steps a day, okay? So I'm very active. At the moment, my goal is just strength training 4 to 5 times a week, and I live my life at a maintenance. I don't currently track my calories because I have that knowledge around food and energy already. I can put something on my plate and pretty much know how much I'm eating. So I'm not currently tracking. I do have more flexibility, obviously, to do all these things because I don't have kids, I just have Jack and our cats. I'm a nutrition coach, I'm a vet nurse, I'm very, very busy. I do juggle the multiple jobs, which is why I need to be fueling my body correctly. So when we look at my specific targets, I should be having around 150 grams of protein, 300 grams of carbs, and 70 grams of fats. Now, as your coaches, we obviously work this out for you, but it's really good to understand that when we look at converting your grams to calories, protein you times by 4. So that gives me 600 calories of protein per day. I do the same thing with carbs. I times it by 4, giving me 1,200 calories of carbs per day. And fats, you times it by 9, okay? And that gives me roughly 630 calories of fats per day, which works out to be my maintenance of roughly 2,400 calories per day. So that's just looking at me as an individual. And Jack's different.
So with me, obviously, male, 29, 85 kilos, 193 centimeters. My daily steps are often around 20 to 25,000 steps a day. I usually strength train about 3 times a week, and then I mix in either a cardio or 3 boxing sessions in the week. So again, pretty active lifestyle, obviously PT, no kids, and a nutrition coach. My current goals at the moment, I'm not looking to lose any weight. I'm sort of just sitting at my maintenance where I want to keep it. My goals obviously are like boxing competitions, maintain strength, all that sort of stuff. So if I ever go into competition, that's when I will hit like more of a maintenance and go into a deficit phase if I do need to be a certain weight for it. But my maintenance calories is roughly 3,150. So like Ness sort of said, I want a high protein diet. I'm about 220 grams of protein. So again, you times that by 4, that's at 880 calories. Carbs, again, you times it by 4. I like having a high carb diet. Again, I burn a lot of energy throughout the day, like hitting 25,000 steps. I'm burning a lot through the day. So I'm having about 1,440 calories worth of carbs. And then again, 90 grams of fats times it by 810 calories. So that is the equivalent to about 3,130 calories per day. So I eat a lot of food.
Yeah, he's crazy. He eats a lot. So as you guys can see, like just us is really different, and you guys will be really different as well. And also something that I really want to stress is people think, you know, let's just use weight loss as an example. In order to lose weight, I'm just eat 1,000 calories, okay? 1,000 calories is the calorie intake of a toddler. And a lot of people come to us and they're like, oh, you know, I'm eating 1,000 calories or 1,200 calories to lose weight, and they're not going anywhere. And it's like, well, one, your body doesn't know where to go. It's starving and it's just plateauing, okay? So you're not going to see results from that. Something else we really like to stress to our clients, because a lot of people do get really focused on that scale weight, is scales are always going to fluctuate. They fluctuate for numerous reasons. For women, hormones, obviously, of course. Our sleep fluctuates it. Our stress cycle fluctuates it. If we've had more water, if we've got a lot of fluid retention, if we've had a higher carb meal the night before, which has more water in it, our scales might be up the next day, okay? So we try and steer our clients away from just solely focusing on those scales and look at all the other benefits, like more energy, body composition changes, you know, you're reaching your desired training goals more efficiently. In order for me to put on body fat, not scale weight, but in order for me to put on body fat, I need to eat 7,000 calories above my maintenance calories to put on body fat. That is literally me something like eating like almost 10,000 calories a day. It's not possible. It's a lot of food, and it's consecutively as well. So it's just something to sort of think about when we're looking at individual changes in someone. Now, I promised Jack I wouldn't talk about this for long, okay? Because again, it's all sciencey. But something really important to understand is the food-mood connection. Our gut, our brain, our immune system, everything is all connected to our brain, okay? The fuel is not only fuel for your body that we're eating, but it's for our brain, and what we eat affects our energy, our mood, our stress, our hormones, everything, okay? So we've got millions of neurons and neurotransmitters that are just constantly firing in our brain all the time, working its way through our body, through our immune system, and to our brain, okay? It's connected by something called the vagus nerve. And again, I'm not going to specifically go into that, but that is how it's connected. And these things control our neurotransmitters and our neurons, and they affect our sleep, our mood, our pain, our stress, and our hunger, okay? So it's all related to nutrition. Again, simplifying it as much as I can. If we're eating a really poor diet, if we're just not giving our body the nutrients that we need, then our neurons are actually inhibited from firing and we produce less of them. And this is why sometimes we might feel really low energy, really fatigued, not wanting to do anything, maybe down in our mood, just because we don't have enough firing neurons that are helping us have that good energy. So when we're eating really good nutrient-dense foods, we're balancing our diet, we're giving us the energy that we need, we actually have more neurons firing, and that gives us the mood, you know, we're better thinkers, got better attention, got better memory. We also have something in our brain called the hypothalamus. This again connects to several parts in our body and controls different things, but it's really important to understand that this controls our hormones and other happy hormones and sad hormones, and these all travel through to our gut, into our bloodstream, into our brain. Does that kind of make a little bit of sense without me getting too in depth? So I know we've covered a lot today, guys. So with all this information, like, how are you even meant to know where to start? We get that there's a lot that goes into it, and sometimes you just might not be able to work all of this out for yourself. But let's just start with the basics, okay? So start by trying to increase your movement. Aim for, if you're on 5,000 steps a day, aim for 6, and then aim for 7, and try and get up to that 10,000 steps a day, okay? The more we move, the more we can eat. Try and hit your water targets. So water is really important. Try and eat more fruit and vegetables. Aim for your 2 pieces of fruit a day. Most importantly, don't cut out the food that you enjoy, okay? Make sure you're definitely accommodating for that in your diet. make smart swaps. We were going to go through smart swaps as well, but Emma was like, I think it's a little bit long, so we cut them out. But we teach you all about smart swaps, and just, you know, portion control and things to look at with your diet, that you can still eat really good food, but maybe just making some brand swaps is going to accommodate more to your goals for that day or that week. And yeah, most importantly, I think that Jack will take it away with this one, but
so that's why, like, obviously we've covered so much with it, but that's why it's so important. Like, if you find you are lost and you're not really seeing the changes or getting where you want to be, like, that's why it is really important to have a coach. Take a lot of the guesswork out of it. We tailor plans to you. And like I said, sometimes following things online or what one other person is doing, like Ness said before, it's not like a one size fits all. Everyone's body is so different. Everyone's activity level is so different. Having a coach like takes all of that into consideration and tailors it completely to you.
Okay, so now that we've kind of just talked your ear off about all of that, we're just going to briefly just talk about the service that we offer as coaches with the flexible approach, okay? Again, we don't just have like one service, because we understand not everyone can do one certain thing. So there are different options for working with us. Our most popular one, is obviously our nutrition coaching, okay? And that's having access to us coaches every day throughout the week, access to our really supportive community behind you, people who are on similar journeys to you, keeping you accountable, giving you encouragement throughout the time. It includes obviously us working out everything for you, okay? Emma's been on it. She was really good. Meal plans, calories, macro breakdowns, training programs are given to you. We have a really easy and accessible app where you can just follow it all. You have all of our resources, and in a moment we will talk about our recipe ebooks and things like that. So this service literally gives you everything you need.
The next one we have, it's a little bit of our cheaper option, but it's our community and training membership. So with this one, it's just $30 a week. We personalize a 12-week just training block and program for you guys, obviously dependent on your goals. We still do check-ins with you. We check in, see how you're going, see how it's all monitoring. Again, it's all on an app, so the app has technique breakdowns and all that sort of stuff for you. It also gives you access to our community with like-minded people, all following on a similar journey or a journey of their own as well.
And then, so Jack is a personal trainer across at Impact Fitness. He's been there for what, how long? I can't keep up.
Yeah, neither can I.
Not
like 10
years?
years.
Yeah, there you go. So we actually have a joint membership with them, okay? So that includes everything that I spoke about with our nutrition coaching, plus all access to Impact Fitness, which is literally just across the road, okay? And it's pretty much everything you need for your nutrition and your training and your fitness, just in one membership.
The next one we have is the Macro Foundation Guide. So it's just a once-off payment. We still get you to fill out all the forms if you're doing coaching. We need this service is really good. We figure out your macros and your calories for you. So we personalize your requirements to your goals. And yeah, we just create a plan based on what your goals are, figure out your calories for you, figure out, you know, depending on what your goals are, the ideal macro split for you as well.
This is sort of that people are just wanting to try it on their own. We're giving you all that information, and you're just kind of doing it solo and seeing if you can like hit those goals along the way. And then similar to this one, just a little bit more in depth, is our complete, the white kind of comes out, but it's called the Complete Flex Bundle. Again, it's a one-off payment, include your initial onboarding questionnaire, all of your macros, all your calorie targets to suit that specific goal that you want to enter into. Plus, we give you 7 times example meal plans to follow that obviously match those targets that we gave you. And then we also give you the training program. You have access to our resources and technique and fitness videos in the app as well. This one also, we've just thrown it in there. You also get a free recipe ebook of your choice, and we'll go through our ebooks as well shortly, but that's just a complete bundle that you can just purchase as a one-off. Yeah. We're about to go through them.
Last one is progressive coaching. So this is more catered for people that have had experience before. They've had a coach in the past. They're very familiar with tracking using MyFitnessPal or like a tracking app. So we just set all your calories and your macros. You create your own meal plan, and we do all the same check-ins with you from there. And then depending on when your goals change, and we just advise you the whole way, but you create and do your own meal plan, and we just oversee it all.
And then you still have obviously access to us coaches, access to the community and the resources and everything like that. Now we're just going to quickly touch on, so we have created macro-friendly recipe ebooks, okay, for our clients to purchase, for anyone to purchase. It doesn't need to be just our clients, because they're just a really easy, good guide to refer to when you just want to give meal prepping a crack. And we just got a little bit of delicious food for you there. It's not just about salads and food that you think is going to get you towards your goal. It's actually eating food that you love, okay? We've got pancakes, we've got pastas, we've got heaps of breakfast options, we've got burgers, we've got smoothies, we've got all different options to suit your dietary preferences.
So with all of our ebooks, we have 190 recipes between all of them. First one we did is easy ingredients, so something with just low ingredients, easy to whip up. We have a gluten-free and a vegetarian one as well for those with intolerances or different needs. We have a smoothie one also, like high protein smoothies, post training, just not a meal replacement, but used as like a quick on-the-go meal. And my favorite one, the Flex Fakeaway one, again, lower calorie, more macro-friendly meals that you would typically have out, like Big Macs, but obviously more macro-friendly and lower calories.
So we're still in the process of making a lot of these as well. But again, if you're a client of ours, you have access to like all these meals, like you get to pick all these meals and we're constantly giving them in your meal plans. So our minimum term is kind of 12 weeks. So you'll have 12 different meal plans by the time you finish with us, and all this food will be in your meal plan. So you'll have access to them as well as members. So for tonight, we're just giving all of our attendees a special offer. If you do want to sign up with our coaching, you do get one extra free week of the nutrition coaching, and you get a free recipe ebook as well. And plus obviously all the advantages that we just went through with our nutrition coaching. And that is it.
Thank you everyone for coming. If anyone has any questions, you can just let us know. We're still going to be here packing up everything.
Raise your hand. If you're comfortable talking, like sometimes we know people aren't comfortable asking questions in public, but raise your hand now if you guys have any questions. And if not, then
we will still be here. So you can come up and ask us in person.
Or you can contact us. Em obviously gave us your brochure. Yes, Em.
So if you're like sitting at a calorie deficit and you're losing weight, and you think you could add more, like,
do you want to be in more of an aggressive calorie deficit?
No,
or you want to add more food? Yeah.
Yeah. Can you just slowly, how much incrementally?
I like to it depends. Like if you're losing like heaps of weight and you're like, I'm so hungry, like you might think you're in too much of a deficit. It would depend on the scales, but typically I like to just I'll flick up like 100 calories here or there. Obviously, per week. But it also depends on how much, like if you've dropped like 3 kilos, it's like, okay, you're way too aggressive. Like you need to have like maybe 400 calories. But if you're maybe, dropping like 1 kilo a week, but you're finding it's not really sustainable, then my recommendation would be like, just try adding in a snack or adding in a little bit more volume to a meal.
We shouldn't
try and make you feel a bit more full.
We shouldn't really see a massively aggressive calorie deficit. Like we don't like to put our clients on an epic calorie deficit, because what we're trying to teach is a lifestyle. It's not like just like a fat loss phase kind of thing. It's a very sustainable weight loss. And again, it depends on the person and the percentage of body fat that somebody has to lose. But maximum kind of we're looking at 1 to 1.2 kilos a week in a person who's in a higher calorie deficit. But if you're losing, couple hundred grams, few hundred grams every week, that's like a perfect calorie deficit, because it's slowly reaching your goals and you're eating food every day, so you're still feeling satisfied and satiated. So we don't want to be dropping somebody's calories so far down that they're just losing so much weight. That's not what we want.
And you shouldn't fiddle between like carbs and proteins too much. You should just sort of stick to those type of guidelines.
You can kind of, like, you can adjust as you go.
It depends on your preference too. Like some people do go like more keto as well, so they'll get more of their energy sources through like fats and obviously like little to no carbs. But your biggest thing would be making sure you're hitting the right like your protein, like making sure your protein is where you want to be. And then you can sort of fiddle between your carbs and your fats a little bit, like take a little bit away, but you want to have enough like good healthy fats, just because they are still really essential. But if you were wanting to like just fiddle between taking a little bit here and there, like if you want a really high protein diet and you felt like you wanted more carbs, you just take a little bit away from the protein and go to the carb for sure. Yeah, no, go for it.
So like sometimes like, I feel like I'm just losing like just a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it. So since I've been with you guys, like
You haven't been on a deficit since you left us, have you?
No.
Okay.
No. But I feel like I lose like half a kilo a fortnight or a month. Like,
yeah.
It's very slow, right? I'm very happy.
Okay.
But like sometimes if I work heaps and I'm walking around and I've just got so much on, I'm just starving. So I feel like some days I eat more than other days.
Yeah, so like a good example for me, for example, is like, so today, like I was up really early. I had heaps of PTs, multiple classes. I've done like 27,000 steps. Like, so I've obviously moved a lot more than I typically sort of would, or even just a little bit more than what I would. So if you've had like a massive day, you've trained or you've just been on your feet all day, you've done like more steps, then I'm definitely not against like eating a little bit more to cater for that day. You know what I mean?
Like on Sunday, I'm just doing nothing.
Yeah, and that's it. And that's the other thing. Like if on Sunday you're like, for whatever reason, bedridden, you're like, I'm not doing anything today, then like maybe eat like just a tiny bit less.
I
It's
think,
not taking it away completely, but
I think it's also really important to understand it's not just nutrition related. So we would be talking to you about how did you sleep last night? What's going on with your life? Have you hit your other targets? Have you hit your water targets? Like it's not just solely focused on the food itself. And you know, you're not going to be perfect every day, guys. We're not after perfect. We're after progress every day, okay? So you're going to have fluctuations. You're going to go off here and there. Like it's flexible, it's balanced. That's what we're coaching. But you're going to see things like that throughout your journey. And as coaches, it's our job to kind of understand everything that's going on in order for us to then give you the answers and to give you the tools and to give you the strategies that you can then implement into that.
The biggest thing is like consistency over perfection. That's the biggest one. You just got to be consistent.
Does anyone else have any questions?
I guess have you seen clients with autoimmune conditions and like bowel issues?
Yeah, so what we definitely have experience with all that, but obviously if the client is comfortable, we do like to have kind of that medical background if they're comfortable sort of sharing their bloods and their tests and their results, and even like the care plans or something that their doctor has provided, so that we actually have all the information to go off, so we're not just kind of throwing at them stuff that isn't going to align with their medical needs as well. But yes, absolutely.
Food intolerance.
Correct. Oh yeah, we've had so many like celiacs, again, vegans, vegetarians. We've had somebody with Crohn's disease. Like we're very familiar with a lot of them.
Question. Obviously, I need to lose weight. I have needed to lose weight for a long time. I'm sick of wasting my money because I'm lucky to walk 2,500 steps.
Yeah.
I've got like a back, a hip injury, foot injury. So my movement is quite limited, even though I do Pilates twice a week.
Yeah.
Like, looking at all this, and I know, you know, good health, bad health, fats and everything. How would you like?
We would tailor it to you.
Yeah.
So obviously, at the moment, your movement is limited and you can only do so much. But once you start losing weight and feeling better and having more energy and potentially having, you know, less issues with your movement, you might be able to move a little bit more each and every day. But in order to lose weight, guys, you don't need to be killing yourself at gym. You don't need to be doing all these training programs and all this stuff. We would tailor the nutrition specifically to you. But I guess more so it would be because your movement is lower, then your food would be lower, and it would just be about having that mindset and that determination to just stick with the plan kind of thing. And you will 100% see changes because we will tailor it to you.
Yeah.
So your talent program, you would look at like what the person likes and dislikes.
Yeah, 100%. So like when we
the laziness of non-cooking because they're a single person.
When we
It's super easy.
When we send out like a nutrition questionnaire, and there's a massive food list, and you literally just tell us what you do, what you don't like, and then you give us like just a real brief diary of like typical brekkies and lunches and dinners, snacks.
So what if you don't eat lunch? What if you don't eat breakfast? What if you drink your 2 litres of water? You might have a couple of pieces of fruit. And
So-
then just have a meal overnight.
Well, we'd be looking at balancing your day better for you. So, for example, it's like, why are you skipping breakfast? Why are you skipping lunch? Is it because you just don't want? You do. That's fine.
Yeah.
So maybe we might look at maybe having a banana or having something different. Or then again at lunch, we might be like, okay, so if you don't like eating at this time, what time? Like 2 o'clock, can you have this meal? And then say 6 or 7 o'clock, you can have this meal. You're picking the food that you want to eat, and potentially we might be giving you the guidance of when we think that you should be eating it. But our meal plans, like as Emma would know, it's got all the brands laid out. It's got the grams, and it's super simple, and you have to get familiar with tracking. It's the only way. You do need to weigh food. It's not a guesswork when you're first starting out, guys. You've got to have those kitchen scales, and you've got to be weighing the food, because the more that you do that, the more that you understand. Like I said, like I don't track anymore because I'm just so familiar with what certain calories and grams looks like. So you just have to get familiar with the tools and the tips that we give you in order to get there. But you will 100% get there if you follow what we're telling you to do.
The other thing would be like with eating your meals late, like intermittent fasting is like massive now. Like even if that's not weird, if you're just doing it because you're not hungry or whatever, like, so we've had people that do that, and you just eat your meals a little bit later. Yeah, you just adjust it to that. So it's
like $70 a week.
Correct. Exactly. And that's giving you everything you need. And I guess with those meals as well, we'd be making sure that when you do eventually eat, say later on in the day or in dinner, that you're not just binging everything. Yeah. Like it'd be about balancing the food that we're giving you so that you're feeling satisfied, but also not going completely over your calories.
Which is sometimes why having, like, even if it's just a really small brekkie, like it can help those habits as well. It doesn't have to be like something massive.
Be a drink, be a bit of fruit.
Like that's why the smoothies are good. Just blend it, drink it, and it's easy done. Yeah, that's all right.
Do you see a lot of people with I know you didn't touch on it a lot, but I'm sure you see like with like Coke addiction and a lot of people taking calories. Just consuming.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. So drinking their calories is what we call it. Drinking their calories.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, they're drinking their calories.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why we love the education process of it, because we're like, you know what, you can have that entire liter of Coke. You can have a burger and fries. Like, which one do you want, kind of thing, because you need to be making sure that your calories are balancing. We would recommend, like, try Coke Zero. It's delicious. It's really good. You don't need to drink your calories. And we kind of educate you on how much calories are in your alcohol and your milkshakes and your other drinks and stuff, because we're all for you guys having those things. But a lot of people, like, I don't eat at all, but then they'll hit us with all these like coffees and drinks and Coke and everything. And it's like, you're drinking your calories. That's where it's coming from.
Even like morning coffees, like we put morning coffees, like people go get like a cappuccino or something, like we put that all in your plan as well. But it's also like trying to balance it out. Like if you're having like 6 cappuccinos a day, it's like, okay, like let's try and have 2. Let's just try and have 2, or maybe like 2 and then like a long black.
Are you saying
something.
that you're a Coke addict? Is that what you know? It's going to sound good on the video.
In public for health.
Yeah.
I just see people.
Yeah.
I'm seeing them with blood urgency.
Yeah. Yep.
And some of them are consuming. Like I know up there it said 2 liters of water a day, but some people take that literally. So they drink 2 liters of water a day.
Plus.
But they're told to drink 2 liters of water a day. But then they have 5 coffees.
Yeah.
And some people count like their coffees as their water too.
Recently come and see me, incontinent, high urge every day.
Yeah.
Full bladder loss, bladder diarrhea, over 5 liters.
Wouldn't want to know what her blood sugar levels were.
But like also comfort drinking.
Yeah.
Like Pepsi.
I guess
it's the
a lot
same
of
with
that,
alcohol too. People do it like with alcohol and all that sort of stuff as well.
And I guess the more you start to balance your food and your drinks and your nutrition, the more that mindset shift changes where it's like, well, maybe I don't need that. And there is a huge difference between what your body wants versus what it actually needs. And that's what we like to coach you through as well. So it's not only shifts around nutrition and training, but it's that mindset shift as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the fridge says, am I hungry or am I bored?
And a lot of the time it's boredom. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. But we're all guilty of it. Like we do it. Like we'd be lying if we didn't have moments where we open the pantry and see like a box of shapes, and then go, oh, I wonder, you know what I mean? Have a few here and there.
Jesus, we'll talk about that.
Yeah. So you have those urges, but again, like I said before, it's consistency over perfection. If you're doing it once every now and then compared to every day, it's a massive difference. It's a massive difference.
And we might sort of work out what those triggers are for you. And for example, say we have shapes in your meal plan. Thank you for pointing out the shapes thing. So I'm going to use that as an example. If you have shapes in your meal plan, it might not be like buying boxes of shapes, for example. It might be like getting those little packets. Exactly. Yeah. So it's like you've already got that portion control there for you. Or if you're somebody who's going to open a box of Tim Tams and eat the entire thing of Tim Tams, we're not going to give you Tim Tams in your meal plan. We'll give you chocolate, we'll give you those cravings, but we'll try and take away those extra urges that you're going to face so that we can kind of help you ease into that transition.
It just all needs to be like portion control. That's a massive one as well, like portion control.
And I think a lot of time people, you know, they start the phases, like the weight loss phases and stuff, and they're like, well, I'm not going to be able to eat because I'm in a deficit and it's a weight loss phase. And we'll give them the meal plan and it is so much food. Like 90% of clients are just like, that is so much food. I don't eat that much food every day. And I was like, well, you do. You just eat the wrong food. Yeah. Now you're eating all of this food and you're still going to reach your goals because you can eat to reach your goals. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Just one other thing. So, do you sort of work out roughly for the whole week how much activity you do and then divide it over the days? Or just, for example, I know that I'm very active on like 3 days a week. Do you give out different?
Yeah, we try and average it out just so your like plan doesn't jump too much from day to day, like, because you want to be like consistent with it as well. But again, like I said to Em before, if you're having like say 3 days, like you said, where you're super active, and then like the next, say like few days are like you're like a little bit less active, then we can also like definitely work around that and give you like a little bit more food, and depending on what you're doing, if it's like training or footy or something like. Yeah. Yeah. So like try and cater your plan for those days and then mix it in a bit.
It all balances out as well. So like, for example, if you hit say 7 or 8,000 one day and you hit 12 or 13 the next day, we get our clients to send like their weekly step count through, and it will give you the average step count. Yeah. And when we're giving you your meal plans and your calories, that's what we're working out, your average step count, not your daily step count. Obviously we do get people to push for daily movement because movement just makes us feel better every day as well. But we just like to make sure that, you know, we're not giving you a plan where you say one day you're like, I do 25,000 calories or 25,000 steps, and then we give you really high calorie plan, but every other day you're getting 7,000 steps. So that's not going to work. So it's about averaging your movement to hit your nutrition. We also
get people like, if they're struggling for like 10,000 a day, we go like, just hit 70,000 for the week. You know what I mean? So 70,000 steps. Yeah. So like one day could be 8, one day could be 9, then the next 2 days could be like 12. And then you've sort of averaged it out. That's like a good way that we try and get people to do it as well. If their days are chopping and changing, because then like even some people with work, like one day they're on the tools, one day they're in the office, and then it just yo-yos between that.
You'll be surprised how motivating and encouraging it is to actually hit your step goal. Like our clients send us their step goals every night in the community chat, and we have like our community like cheering each other on and really proud of them hitting their step targets and stuff, because it's keeping you accountable, and you often feel better as well.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any like clients where it's like they're doing too much exercise or?
Yes. And no rest days.
Yeah. Yes. People can definitely fall into the trap of, I've got to train every day. I've got to do this. I've got to do this every day. As long as you can like sustain it, and like, in my opinion, like if you're reasoning behind, like if you're training, like for me, like if I'm competing, like I'm a lot more like locked in and focused, and like you need to understand that having a rest day is like really important. But again, like you're more like focused on that, you know what I mean?
And I guess it's making sure that you're eating enough carbs and proteins to accommodate that training. But I can't stress enough the importance of rest days, because your muscles need to recover too. And it's going to limit you. If you're training super hard every day, you're probably not training to your maximum every day because you've just burnt out and fatigued your muscles epically. So we teach you guys about recovery and saunas and you know your recovery
like active
boots
recovery
and
is massive
making
too.
sure that you're actually resting your body as well.
Like not smashing yourself every day, but like 1 or 2 of those days, like having a sauna, even going for like a swim, it sort of like tricks your mind into thinking I've worked out today. So it's a good way to sort of switch it up a little bit, because it's not like if you're training really hard 7 days a week, it's not going to be sustainable like for a long period of time. You'll be able to do it for maybe
Couple months.
A couple months, but after that, that's where you start getting injuries and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. The rest days are just as important as everything else. Yeah. So if you're overdoing it, I stress you to rest.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Cool.
Really appreciate it.
You also have fun dealing with tradies.
Yeah, we have heaps of we couldn't show all of our client transformations, but we've had several tradies, and there is always a way to like adapt to the lifestyle.
Yeah, because I've got one that's been wanting to lose weight, but he never wants to do
anything. It's really hard. Like
he loves his ice cream, he loves his Coke.
We all do. Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess when people come to us, we're giving you all the tools, all the things that you need to do in order to do it. Yeah, but we can't, we wish we could. We can't follow you around every day and be like, are you doing this, this, and this? It's like, it's a little bit up to you to kind of do what we're kind of telling you to do in order to reach those goals. But we wouldn't tell him to give up the ice cream. We would give him a plan that meant he could still enjoy all those things, but just in moderation. And yeah, I'm more than happy for you to give him our number.
I'm actually really thinking about, because he's always complaining about I drink too much Coke.
Yeah.
The other thing was he stopped Coke for a while. Like, I was just explaining to him, maybe stop Coke for a while.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
He stopped for 2-3 months. He didn't drop any weight.
Yeah,
He's back onto it because
a lot of people
added
replace
food.
a habit with a habit. So if he's used to having like Pepsi or whatever, then he'll be like, I'm not having Pepsi, but I'm having a chocolate bar instead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Replacing those calories with something else.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
But we're also like, we know that like some people they have these habits that have built up over like 10 years, you know, like it doesn't happen overnight. So we try and meet in the middle a little bit as well. Like, yes, okay, like you might want to give up your ice cream. That's fine. Let's not give up your ice cream, but now let's have like Coke Zero instead, or no Coke at all. And if you're used to having this, like maybe no pastry, but we'll give him like a macro-friendly meal that sort of might replicate it a little bit. It's just more calorie friendly.
Because we don't want to cut everything out. Like what we want to do is minimize it. Like you don't want to just cold turkey it kind of thing. Like when you think about just daily habits that we do, like we get up, we have a shower, we brush our teeth, we go to work, we turn the TV on, scroll on TikTok or Instagram. Like these are daily habits that we've looked at throughout our entire life, and it's taken those habits. They take a long time to get kind of burnt into our brain. So it's the same thing as changing those negative habits, getting more positive habits into your day. It's going to take time. It doesn't happen overnight, and it takes time for your brain to realize that this is now your routine. But yeah, we don't like to cut out things completely. Unless somebody's like, you know, I'm drinking a bottle of wine every night or something. We're like, maybe
have a glass. Just have a glass. Yeah.
So I had to stop Googling myself. It was very difficult. I spent 2 years being a drunk.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's so hard. So I was like, I want to lose weight and I need to learn how to eat carbohydrates and be healthy, but I need to still have wine. So how do we do that? It's like, get done. We'll just put that in. We'll factor it in. Like what a standard glass looks like.
Yeah. But like this is the size.
But I did it. It's amazing, and I ate so much food, and like I continue on now doing it myself. shocked. I was eating like wraps and pasta, having a chocolate after dinner, and still having my protein bars and things, and it was just working. It was the weirdest thing.
It's that knowledge and power, and yeah.
Yeah,
and look, like Jack said earlier, obviously we accommodate for all dietary preferences and requirements, and if you want to do keto, if you want to do carnivore, you can, but we just 100% like a purely belief in like that balance approach. So eating carbs, eating fats, eating proteins, like eating all the food groups and learning like your everyday balance, because you can't live in keto forever. So once you come off that, you're going to see all those weight changes again, because your body is just like, oh, I'm having carbs again, so I'm just going to like, you've got to learn that balance. Yeah.
Yeah. Having the personalized and very flexible diet makes you feel like you're not like punishing yourself.
Correct. Yeah, and you're not giving up stuff.
It feels like you're still being naughty, but it was actually
But I feel like so my daughter.
I mean, well, Jack just dubbed me in earlier, and we're partners. Yeah.
Whatever it is, but if you learnt like what's good and what's not, and then have little things each day,
yeah, because you have it every day. You don't feel like, oh, I haven't had any of this, so like on the weekend I'm just going to completely binge and go ham on everything, because you just have that stuff every day. It's what we give you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's amazing, guys. Right, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, we just wanted to say a huge thanks as well to Em. We really appreciate everything and helping us get here tonight. And yeah, it was really nice talking to you all.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for coming. I really appreciate all of you coming. We've got one on the 20th of September. We've got an incredible doctor coming down to talk about hormones and menopause and perimenopause and postmenopause and all things girly. So you can come along and listen to that one. Just watch out the things, and thank you so much for taking the time to be here, to come through today and give all of your knowledge to other people. And I think that you have lots to offer, and I think you'll get lots of phone calls.
Thank you.
Thank
and
you.
we'll keep their business cards here as well. If you didn't get one today, there'll be others. So